This is the new CobraTec Wolverine automatic folder, and you won't believe... Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. We're going to do a well-balanced review on this knife right here. I'll tell you the pros, the cons, things I like about it, because there are a few things I like about it, and then things that I don't think quite hit, in case you're wanting to potentially pick one of these up. Full disclosure, this was sent to me for free by CobraTec. I reached out to him and said, hey, Mr. Tech, Mr. Cobra, send me some stuff to check out for my channel, and they did. They sent me this, and then they sent me this guy here, and we'll be talking about him as well. They were really wanting to kind of push this side opening automatic. It seems like they're trying to branch out of the OTF thing. It seems like, I don't know. Just outsider looking in. I know they're doing some manual folders and side openers, so I think they're trying to promote this line of knives over their OTFs, which kind of built their brand, I believe. Like I said, from my perspective. So yeah, we're going to talk about this. Hang tight. That's what we do here. We talk about knives, talk about sharp things. We joke, we laugh, we cry. Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's not. It's just how it is. So thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate everybody. Right, let's do some, sound cliche. Totally cliche. Let's do some specs. Let's do some speckaroonies here. Pretty good overall general size, right? They know what they're doing on that front. 3 1/4 inches on the blade. Overall length is 7.5. So it's got that kind of perfect size to make everybody happy. It's not, for the people that like the smaller knives, it's not overly big, so they'll be like, okay, that's fine. For people that like big knives, it's big enough that it's not going to upset them. So kind of that middle safe road for knives. You can see here it is compared to a paramilitary 2, and that's going to be the only normal comparison we're doing. Now we're just going to go just wild, just because. So we got the extra mini Paragon from Kaiser, about the same size. Like, look at that, almost exactly same overall length. I really like the Paragon series. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. They think it's a little goofy. RS Knife Works is the designer. I really like his stuff. It is more form over function. I get it. This is a functional knife. You know, that is one thing I can give it for sure. It's a functional knife in terms of form, size, and blade and everything. Here it is compared to a CRK Scapegoat. Well-used Scapegoat in 3V steel. Really like that one. And then we got a Ramet Rhino. Very similar in size, a little bit longer. Same green G10, which also looks really good. Now we've got Shark Cub. I don't think baby sharks are called cubs, but Shark Cub from Demco Knives, which is kind of their smallest, slimmest carry knife. And just for fun, look how thin that is. Look at that. Look how thin this guy is. Very, very thin. This one is about medium, like if you compare it to the Scapegoat here, even though overall length is similar, it's a little bit slimmer. Not as much as I thought. Maybe it's a little bit of an optical illusion, but yeah, you can see it's actually pretty close. I take that back. It's about the same width as the Scapegoat, and then what? I don't know. It's green. 8010 dwarfs it. 8010 is much, much larger. And hey, let's get real wild here. Slip joint, which I don't even know the pattern or the brand or model name on it. I've had it forever, but yeah, just for fun. There it is, slip joint. That concludes every single knife that's within grabbing distance of me right now. Let's do a weight on this. Spoiler alert, TLDR, I know the weight. It's 4 ounces on the dot, or at least it was the last time I weighed it. 4 ounces on the dot. Once again, nice, medium knife that's going to make everybody happy. 4 ounces is a good carry weight. Could it be lighter? For sure, it could. It's got steel liners in there, but I much prefer the trade-off of having rigid, strong steel liners rather than trying to make it super light by skipping those or having some sort of steel insert just up here and then pure G10 on the handle or titanium or whatever. So I like the steel. It gives it rigidity without making it too heavy. Blade, flat ground, about 3/4. You got some cool design stuff going on here with a kind of a harpoony type thing, just for looks. It looks nice. I like the design of the blade. It's a good shape. You've got this nice little belly here. You've got this tip to do some work. It's a very usable, utilitarian, strong, robust blade shape. Not a huge slicer. It's pretty thick behind the edge. The stock is fairly thick, and then the grind only comes up to here, and then it's flat ground. So it is not a delicate slicer. However, it came very, very sharp. This one came very, very sharp. This guy, not so much. Hair shaving sharp on the Wolverine here. Let's get a close-up of the blade. Nice stone wash. You can see the logo. That looks fine. Everything looks good. All the edges are nice and soft and chamfered. It does have an opening hole, which is not needed. It's an automatic. So that was kind of an interesting choice. I don't know why they did that. Doesn't affect anything. Lightens the blade a little, I guess. But it just seems kind of odd. You know, you've got this automatic, and then you've got what looks like an opening hole right there, which just doesn't really make sense. Secondary bevel is fairly even, well done. Like, there's no glaring manufacturing issues or anything on this knife. It's done well. Now, I guess we could talk about the elephant in the room right now since we're staring at it, and that is D2 steel, not CPM D2 steel. Not my top choice. A couple reasons. One is just legitimately, you know, it's a very inexpensive steel. The price point on this guy is about $70, which if the steel was better, I would say good value. Very good value. Running the D2, I would say not so much. And it's an interesting choice for them to go with it. Now, D2, properly heat treated, it's good stuff. CPM D2 is killer, but regular D2, it's not bad. And that's what's hard about doing these reviews, guys. Little tangent here. As it stands, D2 on a knife like this, at the end of the day, is fine. It's going to achieve what the most people, what am I saying? Am I having a stroke? It would do what most people need it to do that are going to be carrying something like this. It's fine. It is. It's good. It's easy to sharpen, spin around a long time. Not very corrosion resistant though, so that's a little bit of an odd choice because you might have some rust issues. But in terms of performance, it's fine. It's great. The only issue is it's very inexpensive. It's been around a long time. So when you're looking at price point, you know, what you're getting for the money, it plays into that. And this definitely does. CobraTec seems to really love the D2 though. So maybe they heat treat it super well. I want to do some testing on this. We'll see if I can get around to it. Let's keep going. So we got the handle here. Let's talk ergonomics. Really, really good. Honestly, feels great in hand. No hot spots. I know I'm wearing gloves in this video, but believe me, I've done this same test without gloves. Very, very comfortable. You get nice and reasonably high on this blade right here. This shape is just, it's simple, but it works. It's nice. Jimping is pretty worthless. It's very, very weak. I mean, you can see it. You don't even have to feel it. You can tell. However, you do have this ramp here of that little harpoon going on. So it does kind of protect you from sliding up there. So very, very nice. Let's talk blade play. It does have a little bit of, I don't know if you can hear that. Probably not. It does have a little bit of blade play this way. I've tightened the pivot so it doesn't have any side to side. It does have a little blade play. Now, that's not uncommon for plunge locks, but it's not inherent in plunge locks, if that makes sense. So it wasn't shocking to have a little bit of wiggle there, and I don't think it's a big deal, but I just wanted to let you know that it's there. So for example, this ProTec does not, right? ProTec does their plunge locks really, really well. There's no wiggle. Now, you know, it's tough because the plunge lock in and of itself is not a very robust lock. And so complaining about a plunge lock having a little bit of play, I mean, yes, it's a gripe. It is a little annoying. But at the end of the day, it's never going to be, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want people, just because this one's rock solid, to get a false sense that this is a really strong lock. It's just not. It's not the best lock choice if you're going for strength. Now, it's very suitable, right? Like cutting, you should be pushing. Point of the lock is just to keep the blade in the open position. It really shouldn't be used as a way to try to turn it into like a fixed blade. Now, when you get into things like the triad lock, all of a sudden you start pushing the boundaries of a folding lock, and you do kind of enter that territory where you're like, well, how strong can a folding lock be? Like, this really does some amazing stuff. But really, first and foremost, a folding knife needs to be treated like a folding knife. You know, it's meant to fold, and you should never fully trust the lock. So I don't know. Anyways, long rant. Take that as you will. It did have a little bit of play there. I'm not overly concerned, especially at this price point. But it is there. We've got a stop pin in the back, nice and robust. Nested in these steel liners, which, by the way, sit proud of the G10. I don't know if I love the look of that, but everything is nice and rounded, right? There's no sharp edges. Everything is nice and good. You can see some gunk in there. There's the plunge lock that interfaces with the tang of the blade. One thing I really like about this is the G10 liners. Usually, side opening automatics, 8 out of 10 times, are just going to have aluminum handles like this ProTec here. You know, it's so common that you're just kind of used to seeing it, that whenever I see a side opening automatic made out of anything other than aluminum, I kind of like it. And this G10's nice. Nice green G10, chamfered. Not a lot going on. Yeah, just kind of chunky. It's got this milled pattern on there, but it's pretty cool. I also like the touch of the collars on the pivot here. You know, not something you typically see in a knife like this at this price point. It's, you know, nothing fancy. It's not titanium or anything, but it's a nice visual touch to have that collar, and it kind of makes it look more modern, right? Because that's kind of a modern thing. Button standard, you know, it's sits reasonably proud. It's nothing crazy. It's not nested or inset or anything like that, but it's fine. You've got the safety right here. I don't love safeties on automatics, but you know, I can see why people like them, and I can see why they put them on there. It's done well. I like it's a metal button, I believe. Pretty sure it's metal. Ooh, maybe it isn't. I don't know. It felt metal, but now that I look at it closer, I don't know if it is. It might be G10 or polymer, but it's got a nice texture on there, so it grips really well, and the resistance and the positive click is very good. It's not sloppy. It's not too easy or too hard to disengage. You've got this nice little red button in there letting you know it's ready to fire, and then you can also lock it up that way so that it can't be unlocked, which is, you know, obviously, it's got a lot more play if I press the button like that. So yeah, done well. Done well. It's fine. Not breaking any new ground, but it's done well. Got lanyard hole right here where the steel kind of comes around. You know, you could argue that it gives you a little bit of like a Kubotan type thing. You do kind of have a strike area right here that you could use for different things because it is pretty thick steel liners. Running on standoffs right there, deep carry bent steel clip that is not reversible, so it's right hand tip up carry only. Nice and centered. You know, how hard does it fire? It fires fine. Not nearly as hard as like a ProTec. This thing, ProTecs just fire hard. That's kind of what they're known for. This is kind of medium of the road. It's a little on the softer side. Definitely does its job. It's broken in a little bit, but it's not a super hard firing knife, but it also means it's easier to close. You know, that's kind of the give and take. Yes, you can make a knife that fires super hard, but it's going to be harder to kind of close it, especially with one hand. So it's okay. I'm not going to say it's an amazing hard firing knife. Obviously, it's not. You can see it. Overall, this knife is fine. It's fine. It's fine. The price point's fine. Right? It's okay. $70. I don't know. And that's from like the Cobra website. So I don't know in terms of dealers if you can pick these up for cheaper from a dealer or on sale. If that's the case, if you can get these cheaper than MSRP that's listed on the CobraTec site, then I would say great value, honestly. If you can get this for like 40 or 50 bucks, it's a nice auto, great design, great size. D2's fine, everything's fine. But I don't know, 70 bucks seems a little high for me for a coil operated side opening automatic with these materials and Nothing particularly standing out. Like I said, I do like the silhouette. I like this blade design. It's very, very nice, very cool looking. It's got some aggression to it, but it's not over the top. So I do like that. So yeah, Wolverine side opening automatic, full review in the books. This is coming in from CobraTec. And oh, another interesting thing is it's serialed, number 227, which is kind of cool, you know, to have that in a knife like this. All right, guys, comment down below. Is this something you would ever pick up? Any interest in something like this? I want to hear from you guys. All right, guys, take it easy. I'm out.